News Radio 840 WHAS coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show. Can you save money on your home insurance? We have a way. Also, with a real estate agent, new regulations. Can you fire the agent that you have signed with? We'll explain that. And we're going to tell you how to protect your family. We've got bad habits that could burn down your house this winter. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, owner of the Sokoler team at Remax Properties East. Thank you for joining us. We're here till the top of the hour, and with us some great folks who we think will be able to answer your questions that you're sending in. First of all, Randy Rocky. He is the head guy over at Swan Financial, or one of the head guys. You can reach him because they shop the loan to get you the best rates at 645-0736. Also here, Lee Harris. She is legal counsel at Limestone Title and Escrow. You can reach Lee at 649-7964. And if you are thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I would love to be able to help you. It's me. It's free, no obligation for me to come out, and we talk about the process. Area code 502-376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit. And if you want, by the way, a free instant idea of what your home is worth, feel free to give WeSellLouisville.com a click on your browser, whether it's your iPhone or your computer or your iPad, and fill out the form and hit submit, and the computer will get you a price on your home almost instantly. All right, guys, welcome. Let us start with a question for Lee from Cynthia. She sent us an email. She signed some sort of document or agreement with a real estate agent when she went to see a home that was for sale. The agreement was for 6 months, but she says she's been very unhappy with this particular agent. Apparently, the agent doesn't respond to requests to see a home. So Cynthia is asking, did she have to sign the agreement, and can she get rid of this agent if she doesn't like the way the agent's treating her? So, Lee, let's talk about the process to begin with. Why are buyers having to sign agreements?
Yes, that's a good question, Cynthia. So a few months ago, in August of 2024, the rules changed, and now in order to view any home with an agent, you must sign an agreement that says what that agent's relationship is to you. If you want a buyer's agent, you're going to sign a buyer's agency agreement. If you've signed one for 6 months, that would be an exclusive buyer agency agreement that you're committing to work with that particular agent, just like if you had listed your house with that agent for 6 months. So it's kind of the same thing, just on the buyer's side. As far as terminating that agreement, if your agreement has a termination clause in it, for example, look through the document and see if it says you can terminate by notifying in writing or something like that, then you can follow that process and you can terminate if you're not satisfied. If there is no termination process, I would suggest asking the agent for a release if you're wanting to move on, because what you cannot do is go sign another one with someone else, because then you would have two exclusive agreements, and exclusive means one, so you wouldn't want to be on the hook to be paying two different people for that. So some of them have a termination provision in them and some don't. So it just depends on what document you signed.
If the agent will not terminate, can she do anything else at that point, Lee?
I mean, there's always a broker, a principal broker who is in charge of every office. And if you do have a complaint, such as my agent is non-responsive or something like that, you can certainly take that to the broker, and either the broker can appoint you someone else, or the broker can fix this situation, or the broker could potentially agree to release it. But there's always a broker over every company.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. A reminder, you can hear and see a rebroadcast of today's show by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That is LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see while you're looking at things on the internet, if you're looking for reviews for a company to sell your home or to buy a home, you can look at our reviews. We're very proud of them. They're very good. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com. All right, Randy, we're going over to you now for this next question. Sarah says she plans to buy a new home next year, and her friends tell her that she should cancel her car insurance that she has and try to get a policy that combines her house and her car to get the best rate. And she's wondering Any truth to that? So, Randy, I know you're not an insurance broker, but just from your perspective, I guess it would be combining both of the both car and auto on one policy.
Right. It will be separate. Obviously, when you make your mortgage payment, it will be on the homeowner's insurance. But if you do a bundle with your insurance company, you can even use your current one. They do, you do get a discount on car insurance if you bundle having your homeowners and your car insurance with them.
Yeah, I agree with that completely on that, Randy, because I actually do that, and you do save with many companies. I would definitely, without question, contact your insurance, your car insurance broker, and see if they offer a combination. And typically, they'll give you a discount, and sometimes a sizable discount. Right? I think that's
Yes.
important
Yes.
to know. Back over to Lee Harris over at Limestone Title and Escrow. Chelsea is building a shed on her property. She's got a house, building a shed in a prominent, she says, Jefferson County subdivision. In this email, she says she received a letter from the homeowner association saying she is in violation of the rules and regulations of her condo or homeowner association. She needed approval, according to the association, before building any exterior structure on her property. And Chelsea says it's not permanent. It's not a permanent structure. The homeowner association is apparently disagreeing with that. So, thoughts on what she's done and what can be done to rectify that, Lee?
Yes. So anybody who's in a homeowners association or a condo association, for that matter, there's always going to be rules and regulations, bylaws that the neighborhood might have, such as you can't put up a fence, or if you put up a fence, it's got to be this height, or something like that. So in this case, you're talking about building a structure on the property. All of these, if they have an actual board and they have meetings and all of that as they're supposed to, they also usually have like an architectural committee or some kind of committee that looks at applications to build things or put in a pool or anything like that. So it's probably a very simple process to get the application and to fill it out. And then at the next board meeting, the members of the HOA can vote on that. Now that you have done it already, you might want to contact them and say, okay, I understand that you feel like I should have asked for permission before, but it's here now. Can I get permission after the fact? And hopefully they will say yes, and hopefully they'll vote it in. If not, the one way that you could also potentially, I don't know how many neighbors you have, but you could potentially get however many you need, 50% or 75% of the neighbors to say that they are willing to give an exception to that bylaw. That rule.
Okay. So that's a good way to try. But I guess there's no going back unless she wants to pull a shed down and start from the beginning. But I think anybody who lives in a subdivision that has an association has to realize there are rules and regulations, but that also protects you at some level from your neighbor doing something that would be against those rules and regulations as well. A reminder that if you're thinking of selling your home, we have a free no obligation booklet that has hundreds of useful tips. You want a copy? Oh, easy enough. It's free of charge. Simply send an email to bob@wesellouisville.com and put selling tips in the subject line, and I'll send that out to you ASAP. And a reminder, you can get a free estimate of what your home is worth. Go to wesellouisville.com and click on the top of the page and fill out that form. Back over to Randy Rocky at Swan Financial. Randy, Matt says as soon as interest rates come down to below 5.5%, that hopefully will be next year. Don't know. He says he's planning on buying a home, and he's wondering what are the fees associated with a mortgage? What does he end up paying? And that may differ, correct, from broker to broker?
Yes, it does. In some situations, you'll be paying an underwriting fee and a processing fee, and in some situations, you don't pay either one. It just depends on the particular lender, what the fees are, and that's why you get a loan estimate, and you go through those with them, and you discuss all the fees. That's something that we require and should. Every company should require. Hey, to send an estimate to your client, go through everything with them and make sure they understand it.
Yep, easy enough. And we know that there are some mortgage companies that throw in junk fees. So you want to shop
Right.
the mortgage
Right.
lender. You want to check with your real estate agent to give you an understanding of what is correct and what is not a junk fee. And we highly recommend Swan because they don't, and they do a great job getting your loan closed. Back to,
And
yeah, go ahead.
back to saying that. And Bob, I wonder if you feel the same way. I think in the last 10 years with technology, it's become a lot easier closing home loan. Do you feel the same way? I mean, as long
Yeah. Oh,
as
yeah.
the loan officer is prepared, I think the client is getting a much better experience.
Yeah, especially with the docs. Since I actually went through Swan a couple of months ago to get the mortgage on the new house, without question, it was very simple because it's all basically filling out stuff online and it
Yes.
gets to them real quickly. So it's good stuff. Good point. Back over to Lee Harris over at the Limestone Title and Escrow. Lee, Edelman sent us an email asking about a piece of property that has a mobile home on it. She says in this email she wants to buy the property, put her mobile home on the land, but the two current mobile homes that are on the land are renting, and she doesn't know if she can ask them to leave. She's also wondering who would be financially responsible for moving the two mobile homes that are on the property if she bought them. Interesting question. We don't get a lot of mobile home questions, so this one for anyone who owns a mobile home that's listening, it could be interesting for them. Lee?
That's a very interesting question, Edelman. So if the property that you're looking into is for sale, the entire plot, and there's two rented mobile homes on there, then if they have leases with the current owner, then those would transfer to you. So if those leases are for another month, then you would be obligated to those tenants for another month. If they're for another 10 years, then you would be obligated for another 10 years unless they would agree to release and move elsewhere. If they are owned, if those mobile homes are owned by the tenants, then if they're ready to go at some point, then they would pay to move them. But if they're owned by the lot owner, then you could either keep them or, obviously if you want to get rid of them, then it would be the owner's responsibility to pay to have those removed.
Okay. So, and there's no way, if they don't want to move, there's no way to make them move at that point?
Well, if they have leases, if they have written leases, which maybe they don't. I mean, a lot of people are going on verbal leases. And so if they're verbal, then they may just have month-to-month leases and they just pay the landlord month to month and they've just been there forever and they just have sort of a handshake deal. So that's something to find out before you make your offer is how are these people here? Are they on written leases? And if so, I'd like to see them. If not, are they on month-to-month leases verbally or otherwise? And how much they pay? And I want to see if if it's something she wants to get into.
You bring up a really good point. Even though they may have a lease, it may not be a legally binding lease, especially if it was a lease that was obtained over the internet, right? So bring it to an attorney and have the attorney review to make sure that it is a binding lease. Very good point.
For sure.
If, by the way, you want to think about your home and what will photography look like if you decide to sell, go to Louisville3D.com. That's Louisville3D.com. That's one of our websites where we have the future of photography, of some of the things that we do. I think you'll find that very interesting. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to help you protect your family with some bad habits that could burn down your house. Staying with us until the top of the hour, we've got Lee Harris, legal counsel at Limestone Title and Escrow. You can reach Lee and the folks over at Limestone to get your home closed at 649-7964, and they do a lot of other things as well. Also staying with us, Randy Rocky. Swan Financial, you can reach Randy and his team at 645-0736. They shop the loan to make sure you get the best rate. And if you're thinking of buying or selling in the near future, I would love to help you. Simply give me a call on my cell phone. No home too big, no home too small. I work in both southern Indiana and the Louisville and outlying counties. You can reach me at 376-5483. Go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form and hit submit. And if you want an instant analysis of what your home is worth, go to WeSellLouisville.com. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, here with you till the top of the hour. Thank you for staying with us, folks. Continuing with us, Randy Rocky He's over at Swan Financial, where they shop your loan to get you the very best rates that are out there. You can reach Randy at 645-0736. Also staying with us, Lee Harris, legal counsel, Limestone Title and Escrow. They do a great job of getting your loan closed, and they do a variety of other legal work for you. You can reach Lee at Limestone at 649-7964. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I would love to help you. If you want to give me a call on my cell phone, there's no home too big, no home too small, and we come out with a free, no obligation time to spend with you and talk about the process. It's me. I'm the one who comes out, and I'm more than happy to help you. You can reach me at 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, and for a free instant analysis of what your home is worth, you can go to WeSellLouisville.com and click at the top of the page, either on your computer or on your smartphone. All right, so we're coming into the time where a lot of folks are going to be inside. We've got some bad habits that you may be doing and you want to revise before winter hits us. And I'm going to go through these because there's a bunch of them. Misusing electrical blankets. Never allow pets, by the way, to snuggle up on top. And don't pile additional blankets over an electric blanket. This is based on the fact that house fires are more common than you probably realize. The U.S. Fire Administration reports that in 2020, at least 372,000 homes fires occurred, and the fires resulted in more than 2,600 deaths and 8.6 billion in losses. So it's important. Don't use the electrical blankets. Don't ignore appliances or electronic recalls, which a lot of us do. Don't let dryer lint build up in the dryer. Don't let your laptop overheat, and that could be a problem, especially if you put your laptop on, let's say, a bed, and the fan doesn't get any access to air because the blankets are covering the fan ports. That could heat up the laptop, so be aware of that. Don't choose the wrong wattage bulbs, though now with LED bulbs, it's a lot better. You don't have to worry so much about that. Using too many extension cords, I'm guilty of that, where you plug a whole bunch of extension cords in to have access to a variety of outlets. Don't allow dust to gather, because the buildup can be a fire hazard in and around electronics, electrical sockets, floor heaters. You want to vacuum those on a regular basis. I know I check my computer on a regular basis, but there is dust that builds up. You want to do some research on how to clean that properly. Don't store batteries improperly. Don't let rodents continue to access your walls because they're going to possibly chew through some wires. You want to check the chimney. If you have a fireplace, make sure it's in working order. Don't forget to clean the range hood, because if you got oil on that range hood, it could cause a fire. Don't position furniture too close to heating sources. Don't leave candles unattended. We think that's pretty standard, that you should know that, but you never know. Don't smoke or vape indoors. And don't step away from the stove if you are cooking, just even for a moment, because something could happen. Don't overlook loose-fitting plugs in the wall, because they can move around, spark, and then you have a fire. And then not leaving enough clearance around heaters when you're using an external heater. That could be a problem as well. So those are some of the tips to stay safe this holiday season and into the winter of coming up in 2025 and beyond. All right, we go back to Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. Randy, Amanda, considering buying a home next year, she's not sure how much of a mortgage she can afford. So here are the statistics from Amanda. She's 25. She makes $45,000 a year in this email that she sent us to Bob at WeSellLouisville.com. And she has received a variety of advice from people saying she is not making enough money to buy a home. So, Randy, go ahead.
Right. Well, it just depends if she has any other debt. Let's assume she does not. All right. So that means she's averaging about $3,600 a month. She can afford a payment, and it puts it a little tight, but she can afford a payment, around $1,600 to $1,800 a month, which is equivalent to about a $225,000 house with 3.5% down. Or if you do zero money down, you're looking probably around a $210,000.
That's not bad, and you can find plenty of homes as they come on the market.
Sure.
But man, I would tell you, you want to align with an agent that you can trust, who will get out, as you may have listened to in our previous conversation, who will get out when you need them to show you a home. But align with them so that they can set you up on a search and you can start seeing now, even if it's not until next year. This goes for everybody. Even if you're not buying until next year or beyond, find an agent that you can trust, have them set up a search for you so you're seeing anything that comes on the market in the price range. And you might want to get pre-qualified, at least talk to someone like Randy Rocky to get a pre-qualification, right?
Well, and that's a good point. And I believe these stats. It's a little bit over 50%. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
People out there that are renting that could buy a house and be close to where they're at on payment. Now, again, you still have repairs, and we go through that with you. You know, you should have a little bit put away for those, but it's truly for some reason people feel like it's an intimidating process. And with Bob's team and Lee, with what they do on title and what we do, we really do break it down. And we talked about it earlier in the show. It's a lot simpler than it used to be, and I think the perception is sometimes not reality. And so if you're a first time home buyer, just give somebody a call and start the process, because you might be surprised what you qualify for and how easy it is to buy a home now.
You got it. A reminder, you can see a rebroadcast or watch it actually on video for today's show. Go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. And an invite for everybody. You would, if you like, I don't know if you know this, we do a newsletter twice a month. It's free, no obligation. Go to WeLoveLouisville.com to sign up for our bi-monthly newsletter. Lee Harris, Limestone Title and Escrow. Jennifer sent us an email asking if her husband of 17 years can sell a house in Jefferson County without her consent, even though her name is not on the deed. Thoughts on that? Interesting. Name is not on the deed. Can her husband sell a house?
Well, I guess he can enter into a contract without her consent, but he's not going to be able to transfer clear title unless she's willing to come to the closing and sign her dower rights away on the deed. So they're going to have to come to some kind of agreement, because if you're married in Kentucky, your spouse has to sign away their either dower for women or courtesy for men rights, just by virtue of being married, even if you're not on title. A lot of people get upset about that, but yeah, he's going to have to get her consent in some form or fashion.
So this happened years ago, but let me paraphrase what happened. Someone brought to the closing table a woman who he claimed was his wife, but wasn't, to sign. Explain the dangers of doing that to anybody who might be thinking of doing that.
Well, if you put someone on title and they sign the deed and they're not married to you, or they are, but someone who's on title, then they do have an interest in that property, and they would have to sign and potentially get half of the proceeds. So you want to make sure whoever's on title is someone that you want to be on there, and you want to make sure that they are, you want to split the profits with them down the line.
Right, no, what I'm insinuating was he brought somebody to pretend that she was his wife when she wasn't. But you ask, every closing attorney asks for ID, correct? So you're going to have to produce.
Yes, we all ask for ID, yes. But yes, if you forge the signature of your wife, or have someone who's not your wife sign that somehow, like get a fake ID or something like that, then you haven't passed clear title. And that could be a major problem for the buyer and for the seller. So don't do that, people.
Don't do it. Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. Ryan asking in this email, you can send an email, folks, bob@wesellouisville.com if you got a question. He says he's a first-time home buyer. He says, what's the difference between the word interest rate and the word or letters APR? He's hearing that being tossed back and forth all the time. He says doesn't quite understand what that means.
Right. So the interest rate is truly, if you plug in the numbers, and let's say it's a $200,000 loan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At 7% interest, your principal and interest payment will be that the 200,000 at 7%. What APR puts in play, and they did it back in the 90s because of the car industry. And what they decided to do is say, okay, the regulator said, we're going to also include certain closing costs, not all closing costs in the APR. So the APR includes that into the equation. So then that's your rate with closing cost as well.
Okay, so the difference is the APR is everything that's included,
Includes,
factoring in.
yes.
Okay. Hopefully that answers it. You know, it's funny for a lot of folks who don't do this every day. We toss around terms, but we don't realize that a lot of people don't necessarily understand those terms.
Right.
It's,
I agree.
foreign, so we get it. But that's what
I
this radio
agree.
show is here for. If you've got a question, hopefully we don't have the answer. We're going to get that answer for you. We are out of time. It went very fast. I want to thank our friends over at Lee Harris, over at Limestone Title and Escrow. They do a great job of getting your loan closed. And they do a variety of other things. Lee, you do wills as well, don't you?
We do, yes.
We'll have to go through a list next time we have you on there, but some of the things that
Okay.
Limestone does. You can reach Lee for fellow real estate agents. She is there for you for legal counsel as well. If you need an ear to talk to, Lee's great. 649-7964 is her direct cell phone number. It does. It rings in her pocket. 649-7964. If you're thinking of buying a house and you need a mortgage, I cannot recommend highly enough Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. They shop your loan to get you the best rates. You can reach Randy at Swan at 645-0736. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, next year or beyond, I would love to be able to come out and talk to you about the process. I live, breathe, and eat Louisville real estate and Southern Indiana real estate. And you can reach me. It's free, no obligation, no home too big, no home too small, and I work in all areas. You can give me a call on my cell phone at 376-5483, or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and that will come to me. And then you can also get a free instant analysis of what your home is worth right now, right after the show. Go to WeSellLouisville.com, fill out the form at the top, and that will get you a computer analysis. It's a good start. Not perfect, but it's a start to find out what your home is worth. Again, we're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.